What's up, everyone? Today we're making a new kind of League of Legends video about the in-game settings. Now, obviously, settings are highly preferentially based, meaning you just kind of pick whatever feels good and you roll with it. But I'm going to be showing you my settings today, which is also always plan ahead setup, considering I gave it to him, and why I think that this setup is optimized and using settings that you guys either don't use or underutilize. So in this video, we'll be looking at hotkeys interface in game, considering video and sound are based on your specs, and afterwards we'll show you why each of these mechanics works and why it is optimized. I'm going to be doing this completely wordlessly, so follow along if you wish, and then afterwards we'll talk in depth about each of these settings. Timestamps will be included in the description below for each section. So off we go. I'll be doing this as quickly as possible, and I'll see you on the other side. Alright, sorry, so a little bit of finagling there at the end because I already had put these settings in. The last couple times I tried to do this video correctly. But these are the settings that I used and we are completed. Now, a rundown of what we actually just did. And notice we left a lot of things on default because I think the default settings are not bad. But the things that we put in, I think this is the setup that is optimized. So what is QUICKCAST? Obviously, feel free to skip this part if you already know, but we're going to do it for those that don't. QUICKCAST is the idea if you just press the button, it immediately casts. So you no delay, it just goes immediately. And I think that's really important to have on one press buttons, meaning you just press it once and it goes. So in a fight where speed matters, you can just press one button for each of your abilities and you're going to cast them immediately. Very important. Obviously, there are some professional and high-elo players that don't do it this way. Just because they do and got used to it and can play well doesn't mean that it's better and doesn't mean that it's optimized. And the fact that the majority do use this concept shows that it very likely is the optimized setup. So we're getting rid of this for that purpose so that we can just press the button once and off we go casting the ability. This one is just kind of a crutch, that's why I just ignore it. We're trying to get the most out of our settings here, access to most mechanics and the highest level of play possible with the keys, not anything else. All right. And what did we actually change? So QUICKCAST with Indicator is now on shift. This doesn't matter. You can put it on whatever ability you want, but I put it on shift because it's control and alt already used, so the only thing left is shift. Shift now shows the range of your ability, and it also shows like the line that it's taking, so you can see exactly what the game is offering. In this case, the mechanic that, okay, the game is actually showing you your ability range, timing, etc. In this diagram. So we have access to this mechanic. We don't use it on the normal cast, but we can use it if we do wish to using shift. And I use this all, every game. Like if I'm trying to catch someone and I want to get the max range E on a wall for on Camille, or even if I'm just trying to get back to base or get back to lane and I'm trying to just snap it onto the edge of the wall there. So very commonly used every single game, hundreds of times. This is how that setup works. Selfcast and level up ability, I use control and alt switched from the default. Does not actually matter. You can use either one. I just like it switched. This is preferential. You must have these bounded. I actually know the verb form of that. It is so critical to have these on because say we hit level 2 we need to immediately be able to level up our ability and all in as fast as possible. We cannot actually press the key. We don't want to have it on like some crazy thing like across the keyboard. We want to be able to do it really fast, really quickly, get that level 2 all in. That is a important mechanic of the game. And self-cast, if I'm playing Lee Sin or something like that, where I can shield myself, Kale, for example, I need to be able to cast that ability immediately on myself if I need to. So self-cast, level ability, you guys get the idea. All right, that ends this portion. Only thing we change here are the trinket with indicator, so now we can place it exactly where we want inside the range, just like that. Otherwise, we don't memorize the range, so we kind of, just guessing what the max range is. You want to be able to ward really quickly, but you can also have access to the indicator. Same thing. Name of the game settings is having access to as much as possible, and that is the conclusion of this section. This is the coolest section in all of this settings optimization, and this is I don't really know how it works. Basically, if you bind after defaults set 2 to shift MB2, what happened before is if we held shift E and tried to right click out of it, the game broke. It either did not let us get out of this screen, or it canceled, but the move command didn't go through. So we right-clicked and nothing happened. That is really bad, because let's say we're in a fight here, and I'm thinking about E-ing into this guy, but two more people show up. I would need to right-click once to cancel, and then right-click again in order to issue my move command. That's 2 clicks, way too much, easily can die. In some scenarios with these settings, with the QUICKCAST with indicator on shift, sometimes right-clicking wouldn't even get you out of it. And it was very buggy. I don't understand why it worked like that, so I found a fix. At the very beginning, just after you restore defaults, if you set 2 to shift MB2, look at this. Both are binded to the same key, which should not be allowed by the game's own coding. So it bugs, and these split together or combine together. And now, if I hold shift E and right click, I instantly issue a move command. Look at that. Beautiful. That's exactly what I want. I'm holding shift, I'm holding E, I'm holding both at the same time, and I just right click. I'm still holding shift and E, and I just go. It's beautiful. It fixes all of my problems. So this, super critical. Do not touch attack, move, click, because we need this settings bug to work. We need it to bug out. We need it to be binded to the same thing, and these two will combine and create this perfect setting where I can just right click and cancel my ability usage. So this is the most critical part of this video, no doubt. Here, this is all just kind of custodial things below this, but this is the second most important. F keys. You've all seen it, LS, Faker, high-elo players zipping around their camera, moving around, to different viewpoints. They're using the F keys, F1, F2, F3, F4. In my keyboard, and I have small hands, I don't want to move my hand that far up the keyboard, because if you think about it, moving the farther you move your hand at all is objectively worse than moving a smaller amount. If I had to move from Q to W, I can do that 100% of the time. Q, W, Q, W. Q to P, I could learn to do it, but I'm going to miss a certain percentage of the time. If I'm playing as high level of League of Legends as I can't worry about hitting keys. I need to worry about the actual game. So we want to make sure things are as close as possible. If you have small hands, big keyboard, I recommend moving your F keys down to ZXCV. So instead of shifting your hand up that far, you move your hand down to ZXCV. And you're still near spacebar. You can just move your fingers back up to their positions. It's easier for me. And I do think this is a line of F keys that people should consider when they're trying to learn how to use the F keys in their settings. Now, notice that ZXCV will unbind certain things. For example, the chat history. Now I rebind that to H. And then the areas worded ping, I changed from H to MB3. Areas worded ping is very commonly used in every game, so I wanted to put it on a key that's very easy to access. And in this case, MB3 is just me clicking my mouse wheel, and very easy to do. So that, even if you don't use my exact settings, you want to use the concepts. The most important keys that you use every game, you want it on very easy to access keys, and then everything else you just leave default, which is very far away or not used at all. So very simplistic, minimalistic approach. And I do believe that was the end for hotkeys. 2 more, we'll finish up this video, hopefully under 10 or around 10 minutes. In terms of interface, HUD scale. Lower the HUD scale, the worse your camera control is. If your camera control, meaning moving it in left, right, up, and down, is not great and you can't exactly control where your camera is, lower the HUD scale to pretty much as small as possible so you can see more of the screen. So as you saw there, snap down, you can see the bottom of your screen. For me, I just move my camera down exactly how much I want it because I come from StarCraft, it's easier to do. But if you don't have that, kind of experience for camera control, lower the HUD scale. Cursor scale, up to preference. Don't have it too big, don't have it too small. That's why I like 50, but this is the general, it's pretty much preference. Everything else is fine here, and this is all preference here as well, all the way down to this field here, ability attack display. Show spell cost, super important. You need to be able to do the math in the game of how much mana you have and what abilities you can cast. If I only have 200 mana, I can only cast E, Q, and R. I can't cast W. I need to know that so that I don't use W in my E combo and then now no longer have a build or mana for ultimate, and I just screwed up. So spell cost, super important. Keep it on. Ability cooldown display, minutes, seconds. It's just the easily readable one. This is preference, but I think minutes and seconds is objectively the easiest one to read, so I use it. Show summoner names, obviously doesn't matter. Show all chat. Timestamps, this is the critical one here. If they ping a flash or a heal or a barrier, you can just add the 3 minutes or 5 minutes onto that timer, and you know exactly when it comes back up. Allied chat, toxic, turn it off, yada yada. The only time I end up turning allied chat on is to flame people, so it's just by that statement alone, it's obviously completely useless. Keep it off. It is a good idea. And then combat text, you want everything on here. And then mute enemy emotes is just, some people will bind, like Riven, for example, their mastery or emotes to their Q and just spam it, so it's a bit good to keep those off. Move camera on revive. This is one of the worst settings in the game. I don't know why this is even an option. Do not have this on. If you're playing GP or Ezreal or Ashe and you're trying to, use an ability or teleport as a fight's happening, you're coming back to life, you can't do that if you're going to have your camera snap back to the spawn. You want to keep your camera wherever it is in your control. So do not have this on. It screws streamers and everyone all the time. Just keep it off. Finally, auto attack, keep it off. There's absolutely no reason to have this on. And then attack move on cursor. If you're not playing champions like Kog'Maw or champions like hyper carry, kite back champions where you need to hit the guy closest to you, and you're using keys to do that, like the Kog'Maw hotkeys, like the old ZX where you would like attack move like this, and you would kind of do this thing where you moved and attack moved over and over again to kite back really fast like a scripter. You don't want this. You want this to be on so that you have a bit more precision. For example, if I'm in this minion wave, if I attack move to this side, I'll attack this minion. If I attack move to this side, I'll attack this minion. It's a bit more precision and a little easier to use. Target champions only as a toggle. I do think it's better considering you can press the tilde or whatever key you use for it. I use tilde right before tower dive or right before a fight, and then you can only hit champions for the fight, and then afterwards you hit it again, you turn it off. Instead of having to tie down a finger to hold it, you just tap it once, fight, tower dive, tap it again. And that concludes this video. Thanks for watching. I hope it was useful. Feel free to ask questions about settings or game mechanics and yada yada in the comment section below. But all of this will be timestamped, I think, hopefully. So that is the end of this settings video. See you next time.